Professor of Physics Arthur Brennan arrives at the airport by car. Stopping in the parking lot, he, for some reason, leaves the key in the ignition and does not lock the car. During the check-in process, we learn that the man is flying to Japan. On this trip, he does not take any luggage with him and also refuses food despite the long flight. Upon arriving in Tokyo, Arthur shows no interest in the sights and immediately buys a train ticket to Aokigahara National Park. This is an infamous place known by the nickname the Suicide Forest. At the entrance, the man notices an abandoned car and also a surveillance camera. Moving further inside, he begins to come across wooden signs reminding visitors of the value of life. They say, "Stop for a second, think it over. Your life can still become happy." Ignoring them, Arthur climbs over the fence separating the park area and finds himself in the wild forest. On his path, he encounters colorful ribbons stretched between trees. After some time, the hero reaches an elevation where we can appreciate the endless scale of this forest. Moving further, Arthur finds abandoned personal belongings and soon sees the first corpse, the stiff body of a woman. Without paying much attention to it, he continues on his way until he finds himself in a quiet and picturesque place. Sitting on a large rock, the hero takes out from his coat an unopened package addressed to his wife and places it next to him. Then he begins swallowing some pills one by one. At this moment, the hero's solitude is disturbed by a wandering, exhausted man. The stranger says that he cannot find a way out of the forest and asks for help. After giving the stranger some water, Arthur points him to a path leading to the exit and returns to his place to finish what he started. However, when he returns, the large rock is strangely gone. It becomes clear that the hero is lost. After wandering around for some time, he meets the stranger again. Covering him with his coat, Arthur asks if he really wants to leave. The stranger assures him that no matter what, he must return home to his family. Believing the man, Arthur helps him find the trail again and once more sends him alone toward the exit. Forgetting his medicine in the coat pocket, Arthur runs after the stranger. And at that moment, they both realize they are completely lost. After an unsuccessful attempt to get out, the two men join forces and continue searching together for a path leading to the exit. Soon, Arthur notices deep cuts on his companion's wrists. Without hesitation, he tears his shirt to bandage the wounds. From their further conversation, it becomes clear that the stranger came to the forest 2 days ago. He had planned to end his life because of a demotion at work, but at the last moment he changed his mind because Luna and his daughter were waiting for him at home. In response to the counter question about why he is here, Arthur reacts sharply, saying that he just came on an excursion. However, the full pack of pills found in his coat suggests otherwise. Taking them, Arthur quickly walks away, but stumbles on the rocks and falls into a ravine. The stranger, frightened, rushes to help, but Arthur does not want to be rescued. At this moment, the film's action shifts to the past. We learn that the main character had a difficult relationship with his wife. They constantly quarreled and could not restrain themselves even in the company of friends. Their marriage was literally falling apart. Juana resented her husband for always prioritizing his scientific work. Arthur, in turn, despised her alcoholism and endured constant mockery about the fact that he earned less than his wife. After one of these quarrels, Gianna suddenly had a nosebleed. In the present time, the two men try to get out of the forest together. After his fall, Arthur was seriously injured and badly hurt his arm. To distract themselves at least a little, he suggests that they introduce themselves. The stranger gives his name as Takumi. His intelligent wife is named Kiro, and his little daughter is Fuyu. Soon the men reach a stream. After quenching their thirst, they decide to follow the current. Earlier, Takumi had seen a survival program on television where they advised doing exactly that. After walking some distance, the men notice a white flower growing directly out of a stone. Takumi explains that according to local belief, this flower grows in the place where a lost soul finds peace and passes into another world. The stream unexpectedly comes to an end. Looking around, Arthur notices the silhouette of a man between the trees. As he approaches, it becomes clear that it is a hanged man. He is German. There are many like him here. Some go through with it, and some change their minds. At night, the forest grows very cold, so the men decide to take the upper clothing off the hanged man. At this moment, the film again shifts to the past. Arthur and his wife are in a hospital where Juana undergoes magnetic resonance imaging. The examination reveals the presence of a brain tumor in the woman. The doctor insists on immediate surgery and informs them of all possible consequences. We see how this terrible diagnosis brings the couple closer together. Forgetting their quarrels, they unite in this critical moment and discuss the treatment plan together. One evening, Juana admits that she does not want to die in a hospital bed. She asks her husband to promise that when his life comes to an end, he will pass into the next world in a perfect place. Meanwhile, in the forest, heavy rain begins. The men make the desperate decision to shelter from the storm in a cave. Soon, a powerful stream of water bursts into the cave and washes the men down with the current. Regaining consciousness, Arthur immediately begins to shake Takumi. With great effort, he manages to bring him back. Looking around, the men notice a surviving tent nearby. Reaching it, they find inside the skeleton of a dead man. Judging by everything, this was a lost tourist. Inside the tent are many warm clothes, as well as a lighter and a working radio. Changing into dry clothes, the heroes wait out the storm. When the rain ends, they light a fire. And for the first time in a long while, they finally manage to feel warmth. Looking at the strange behavior of the compass, Arthur assumes that it is due to deposits of volcanic rock. But Takumi says that the forest simply does not want to let them go. According to him, this forest is magical. Not everyone is able to overcome its trials. After these words, Arthur recalls the colorful ribbons stretched between the trees at the entrance. They serve as guides for visitors, like breadcrumbs from the children's fairy tale about Hansel and Gretel. In the following dialogue, the hero finally decides to reveal why he ended up in this forest. His wife died 2 weeks ago. Their relationship was not perfect. They often treated each other harshly, but still, they loved each other. And only that held them together. Arthur admits that he came here not out of grief or loss. He came because of guilt, since he would no longer be able to ask Gianna for forgiveness. This frank conversation helps the hero find inner peace. He takes the pills out of his pocket and throws them into the fire. A couple of hours remain until dawn. In the morning, Takumi becomes so weak that he can no longer walk. Arthur makes the difficult decision to leave him in the camp but promises to return soon with help. Taking the radio with him, Arthur climbs up the slope, periodically sending distress signals. Finally, rescuers pick up a weak signal and immediately set out to search. Establishing contact, they try to determine the man's location, but he does not understand Japanese and cannot clearly explain where he is. Seeing a stone staircase, the hero remembers his conversation with Takumi and mentions it. Realizing where this is, the rescuers head to the right place. After climbing up and walking some more distance, the hero finally loses strength. Lying on the ground, he notices rescuers running past and, with his last bit of energy, calls out for help. While Arthur is carried on a stretcher to the ambulance, he does not stop talking about Takumi and begs them to help him. The film shifts to the past, to Gianna's funeral. After the ceremony, the hero admits to the attendant that he never truly knew his wife. Even after many years of marriage, he did not know her favorite color, her favorite season, or even her favorite book. The attendant replies that it was a children's fairy tale. He learned this from a conversation with relatives. Gianna's sister had even mailed her that book shortly before. Meanwhile, in a Japanese hospital, Arthur gradually begins to recover. Before discharge, he is required to undergo a psychological evaluation in case of another suicide attempt. In conversation with the specialist, he calmly says that he intends to return to the forest to look for Takumi. According to the psychologist, the rescuers conducted a large-scale search operation but never found a person matching his description. Moreover, he was not captured by any of the entrance cameras to the forest. In the government database, there is also no record of a man named Takumi Nakamura with a wife named Kira and a daughter named Fuyu. Despite the psychologist's arguments, after being discharged, Arthur immediately returns to the forest. He cannot do otherwise, for he had given his friend a promise. This time, so as not to get lost, the hero takes with him a large ball of rope. Unwinding it, he quickly finds the familiar stone and the package addressed to his wife. Soon, the rope runs out, and Arthur begins tearing pages from his notebook, crumpling them and throwing them on the ground to leave a trail behind. At last, he finds the very same tent, and next to it the spot by the fire where he had left Takumi. Carefully lifting the coat, Arthur discovers beneath it a beautiful white flower. At this moment, the hero recalls Takumi's words that the forest is magical, and that many things within it are not what they seem. Reflecting on the entire journey, he finally understands that all this time by his side was the spirit of Gianna. It was she who, in such an unusual way, saved his life and helped him free himself from the feeling of guilt. Opening the package, Arthur finds his wife's favorite book, the children's fairy tale Hansel and Gretel. In the next scene, the man returns home to America together with the white flower. Sometime later, he conducts a one-on-one lesson with a student. The student notices a strange bookmark in the professor's book. On it is written Kirafuyu, which translates as Yellow Winter. This is how our hero finally learns his wife's favorite color and her favorite season. In the finale of the film, Arthur arrives at a picturesque place, a country house by the lake, and plants the white flower in the yard. The film ends here. Thank you for watching until the end.